Stage 3, terror alert elevated. Initial signs of baby screaming showing up. She's already starting to cry. This means you better get a move on and find out what's happening. There it is. It's all right, honey. She's just hit stage 3, terror alert elevated. All right. Let's get some gas out. There we go. Who let the gas out? Who? Stage 4, terror alert high. The baby is now crying pretty heavily. This isn't the final stage, but it is one which makes you go, oh my God, what is happening? Turn you back over. There we go. All right. And let's put on the sock. Woo! Beyonce's got nothing on you, honey. Stage 5, terror alert severe. The baby is now screaming at full lung. You will know what this is when you experiencing it. And man, the only thing you can think of is, oh my God, how do I get this to stop? I mean, you know, neighbors are opening the windows for blocks around going, what is going on in that apartment? So really, figure out what it is and handle it fast.
Ya pasó, ¿eh? Sí, ya pasó.
So remember, don't get upset about it, just figure out what's wrong. So now let's talk about the 6 main reasons your baby will be crying and what you can do to help them with it. First is hunger. The main reason your baby is going to be crying is hunger. Come on, honey. Come on. Come on. Take a snack. Take a snack. Come on. Take a snack. Come on. Come on. Small snack? No? No? There we go. Sometimes you have to convince your child to eat. I don't know why it is, but they're crying and you need to tell them to eat. It takes a little bit of convincing, but then they will eat. This is probably the most classic position for feeding your baby. Head elevated, bottle here, and then right there. Rocking them a little bit helps as well. However, there are 4 other positions that you can use to feed your baby. Well, actually, there's a variety, but there's 4 other main ones that you'll probably resort to. One of them is with them in your arms and the baby sitting up. Sometimes they won't eat unless they're a little bit more vertical. Sometimes you need to be standing with them in the air to actually drink the barley or drink whatever their food is. So just remember, that's 2 other positions that'll work. With them sitting up, just sort of on your leg, and the other one with you holding them standing. Sometimes they'll be screaming because they're hungry, but also because they have gas. And the only way you can get them to eat is with them vertical like this. I don't know why it works, but it does work. So if no other feeding position works, try with your baby vertical, just like this in your arm, feeding them with their whole body as straight as possible. Now, if you're lucky, mom is breastfeeding baby, which makes all of this much simpler because really there's only one position. And really all you have to worry about is making sure that mom eats good food, that she is eating, and also that she's resting. Because a lot of times an exhausted mom can't breastfeed. So just remember that. Take care of mom if she's breastfeeding. Look at that. Happy baby in the proximity. This is another nice position for feeding the baby because you just relaxed in bed. It's really good for late at night / early in the morning when you're exhausted, your back hurts and everything else, they just rest on your legs. You just hold it here. You're leaning against the back. It's probably one of my favorite feeding positions. And the other good thing is that you have time to then just enjoy your baby. She can hold your fingers and there's no problem. There's no strain, so you can just enjoy it. Isn't that right, honey? Yes, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Sometimes the baby stops eating, and if you just move the bottle a little bit, it'll remind them there's more food there and they'll keep going. Don't overdo it. When they're done eating, they'll let you know because they'll push the bottle out of their mouth. The next main reason your baby's going to be crying is because of gas. Now let's talk about gas and the 3 best positions for burping. Your baby is not going to be able to deal with the gas that gets trapped in their stomach from feeding bottles, but just from feeding in general, even if they're breastfeeding. And they're going to need to get burped for the first 90 days. If you don't do the burping, they're going to scream because it's very painful for them in their stomach. So, there's 3 good positions for burping. Let's go through them. The first is when they're over your shoulder. Now, there's varying degrees of where they can be at on your shoulder, but the main point is that their head is somewhere over your shoulder, so if they puke or let something out, it goes over your back and not back in their mouth. So you just want to put them in that position, and you want to pat their back lightly, moving up and down the back with your hand cupped. This will help force the gas out of them until they let out a really good burp. There's different variations on this, such as you walking while doing this, and even you going up and down stairs while doing this to help get the gas out. The classic over the shoulder. Note that her head is slightly back, and then you just start lightly tapping. Oh, there we go. We got a little burp right away. There it goes. It's often just that easy. You want to remember to cup your hands and just lightly pat them on the back. Beautiful. I tell you, the sensation when you get a burp like that is you just want to scream, "Go!" I'm telling you, it's just awesome. There's other variations on the over-the-shoulder method, which is walking while tapping them. Remember, hand cupped, very important. And you just walk slowly, and that helps them get the gas out too. You can walk around the apartment and just talk to them. It helps. That's just basically a variation on that. The other variation is with her sitting on your lap, her chest in your hand, and just lightly tapping. Remember that you want your hand cupped, and you just tap lightly until they burp. The third way to burp them is to lie them face down on the bed with their head to one side or the other and lightly pat them on the back. This helps sometimes when the other positions don't work, and for some reason this tends to get the gas out when nothing else will. Is laying them on a flat surface, a nice soft flat surface with a blanket on it or a burp rag, and you just put them there and you just lightly pat. Remember to cup your hand. You just lightly pat them on the back until they burp. Now sometimes they'll puke, and you need to be aware of that, so you make sure that you move them out of the puke and it doesn't go back in their mouth. But otherwise, once they're done burping, you just move them to a more comfortable position. Now there's something to be aware of, which sometimes you can have a hunger problem and a gas problem, which is where they're starving, but they can't eat because of the gas. So you can be trying to put the bottle in their mouth, and they'll be forcing it out. You're going to need to try and burp them first, and if that doesn't work, you're going to need to do the thing which I told you about in feeding, which is hold them vertical in a position where they're pretty much straight up and down to get them to feed.